So, hello and welcome back to what is a very sad video today. So, I thought I'd go over as to why this car here has died. And there's absolutely nothing I can do about it now. Can't use this car anymore for driving, or video making, or anything of that kind. So, let me show you what's wrong. So, I thought I'd start off with what's been going on over the past few weeks. So, since about a couple of weeks ago, on some occasions when trying to crank over the engine, the whole car will completely lose power and would have to stay like that for about 5 minutes before for some reason it just turns itself back on again. So I thought, okay, that was a bit strange. And then just after New Year 2022, the ignition switch completely died. But anyway, yeah, so I took the ignition switch module out and attempted to reflow the entire PCB, found some cracked solder on the board, and I thought, okay, great, that's probably fixed my issue. And sure enough, the car works fine for a few days. But now, I can put the key in the ignition, and I can turn it on, and when I try cranking the engine, nothing happens. Nothing at all happens. Now, I've run this through DAS and Mercedes Star software and all that crap to work out what's going on the electronic side. I can see that the ignition switch is giving start authorization to the engine, so the immobilizer is disabled, which means I should be able to start the engine, but nothing happens. And according to the ignition switch, there's one temperamental code, which happens every now and again, saying terminal 50 output, and I believe that is the circuit for the starter motor. But, as you shall now see, even when I try jumping the starter motor whilst having the key in the crank position, nothing happens, which is really, really strange. So what I'm going to do is, this is the starter motor relay here, and there's a little contact down here. With this little pick, I'm going to go under the contact over there and pull it up to bridge these two contacts together, which should send power to the starter motor to tell it to start. And at the exact time I flick that, I'm going to turn the key over here to the crank position, and in theory that should do the same job as the fault which I'm getting, which says that the energizer circuit for this isn't working. But as you'll soon see, there's a bigger problem other than that. Here we go. Position 2. Yeah, this is all the car does. Don't know why, but it's not sending fuel to the engine, even though the engine is authorized to actually start according to the electronics. There's no fault codes on the engine, there's no fault codes on the ignition switch. So, yeah, it's kind of done. And as I'll explain in a bit, you'll see why I probably don't want to actually fix this now. So I'm sure you're now wondering, why don't I want to fix this car now? Well, to be quite frank, it's now uneconomical to fix this. So the issue with that, with the original problem, could be the ignition switch, or it could be the front SAM module. And as for why the engine is not actually wanting to crank over, God knows what else could be wrong. And this literally all happened overnight, so I don't know what's wrong. I've checked every fuse and that's all okay. There's no errors on the ECUs. So the City of London has effectively banned this car from driving without having to pay a fee, because it is a old Euro 4 diesel. So if I want to go anywhere within majority of London, I have to pay £12 to enter, because of this car's emission status. And various other cities in the UK are starting to implement something similar, and my town of Reading, I don't know if they are, but there were talks a couple of years ago about them wanting to do something similar with old diesels. So yeah, this car kind of isn't economical anymore to fix, because it has a very finite lifespan left, regardless if the car was to actually run well into the future. Which then brings me to my next subject, which is, well, what's happening to my channel and everything. So to be quite frank, I've still got this project down here, the transmission controller for the 722.6 that I'm working on. I need to find another car which works with that, and I preferably want to find a car where I can take my head unit setup that I've got here and just plug and play, plug it in. which means I'm going to be looking at a C180 compressor vehicle, or like any facelift W203, which is a petrol engine essentially. I want to have a look at and see if I can possibly get one of those, since also I know that a lot more of my testers are on petrol engines than on diesels, so I should be able to make it better there. And I already know this works well on a diesel car now, so effectively this car has no use to me. Well, it does have a little bit of use, and to be fair, it is quite sad that it's going, because it's been in the family for 10 years, and it's got me my YouTube channel and my job essentially with all the work I've done to it. So definitely sad to see this car disappear, but I'm not going to actually get rid of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this car as is, because I'm not spending any money on it. Get my C180 or a similar 203 chassis vehicle with the facelift components, so I can drop everything in place and get the best of both interiors together. And then I'm basically going to tear this car apart and figure out what's good in this car, maybe take that to my eventual car that I'm going to buy, and then take all the electronics from this car and put them on my desk and make a little car in a box setup where I've got all the ECUs from this car that I can play with in one central place in my office space. And then yeah, I think that'll be pretty good for the channel. I can maybe do some tutorials on car hacking and stuff like that, and generally like how to set up and wire everything together. I think that would be a pretty cool idea. So that's the long-term plan. Now, in the meantime, I am currently shooting some content with the RX-8 that me and my friend have bought. So I suppose that will be the interim topics that will be going on my YouTube channel, will be about the RX-8 and dealing with things with that. So I hope you guys will see that sometime soon, but currently my main focus right now is to either find a quick fix for getting this to work. But this then leads me to my next problem, which is that because things are failing so quickly on it, even if I was to fix this tomorrow, would I trust it? Like, if I drive 50 miles away from home, I don't know if I have enough trust in the vehicle that it just won't suddenly out in the middle of nowhere just stop starting again. And then I'm in deep doo-doo and having to call a recovery vehicle. So, yeah. Very sad to see this car die like this. And if any of you guys know what's possibly wrong or want to give me some tips as to what I could check, then please send them in the comments. I would love to hear them. But yeah, I've already fixed the EZS module. I've already reflowed that, and that has no error codes on it, so it can't be that. But then none of the other modules have any error codes on them, so I'm completely stumped as to why this is not working. And I have swapped the relays around in case you're asking me that. And yeah, like the relay which I was short-circuiting does work in other positions for like the fuel pump. It works fine. So it's not the relay, it's the circuit which controls the relay, and that's the main problem, is that for some reason there's no error codes or anything like that. So yeah, anyway, that was kind of all for this video. It was kind of meant to be just a very quick thing so I could update everyone as to what's going to happen on the YouTube channel now that this isn't working and I can't make any videos with this. But yeah, if you have any ideas or suggestions of, in fact, if UK subscribers specifically, if you guys find any like bargain deals on petrol W203s which are facelift, do let me know. I'd be more than happy to have a look at some of those cars and see if they suit me, and maybe I'll buy one. But anyway, that's about it for this video. So hope you all have a nice weekend, and goodbye.